Spending a few minutes with Bryan Taunton, candidate for mayor in the September 23rd runoff election. And Bryan, 2 weeks from today, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2 weeks from today, we're working hard every day out there meeting the folks, as many as we can. I've been in ever since the day after the election. I've been knocking on doors and talking to as many people as we can to try to focus them and get them back out to the polls.
Yeah, I saw you guys, I think, over in the Valley View area over the weekend.
We were.
And
yeah.
So, you have to get out and beat the bushes, don't you?
We do. I was very proud of our team. I think Saturday we hit a little over 500 homes.
Goodness.
So it was a busy day. A lot of walking. I'm losing, but it's good. I'm losing a lot of weight.
Yeah. You also recently picked up an endorsement from the current Sylacauga Mayor, Jim Heigl.
Yes, he called me and told me that he was going to endorse us. There had been several who had come to him and spoke with him, and I'll tell you, Jimmy Dale, that was he was so gracious. I was very touched by his endorsement. I think it means a lot. Jim's very loved in this community. They didn't vote for him this time like he was hoping that they would. But one thing for sure, as I go door to door and talking to folks, they love Jim. And Jim, without question, loves this city and wants what's best for our community. So we are pleased and thrilled to accept his endorsement. I think that's something that's very, very healthy for our campaign.
We talked about the endorsement before we came on, and the biggest thing, we got to get those people to the polls.
We've got to get them to the polls. I need all of his supporters to follow his lead and come over and support us, because one vote, this go around, one vote matters, and you might be that vote. So if you can't be there, then right now's the time to fill out an absentee ballot and get your vote in. Otherwise, make sure that you're at the polls on September the 23rd.
The political winds have shifted a little bit, and we want to talk about that this morning. You've had some pointed topics brought to your attention. You want to talk about that this morning?
Well, I think that's a very gentle way of putting it. We've worked very hard to make sure that we ran a clean campaign. We've been operated with integrity. And, Jimmy, unfortunately, and I wish everybody out there would listen, our social media warriors that are out there on both sides of the aisle, whether you're supporting me, whether you're supporting Matt, it really doesn't matter. But it's become very malicious. And there's just really no need for that.
Were you surprised
that it would get to this level? Yes, sir. I was caught off guard. I really wasn't expecting this many, I guess we'll say, passionate posts that have been put out there. And I would ask everybody, let's pull back on some of that those gross posts. Some of them are quite negligent, but they're without compassion, without people, your loved ones, friends, relatives, your church members read those posts, and it's hurtful to them, and they know that what they're reading is not true. Regarding what some of the things that my opponent said last week, I'm not going to spend this entire interview this morning going through that. Because it's most of it is really not that important. Regarding the ominous quote, he did everything but call me a liar, unfortunately, and saying that he has not been contacted. He hasn't heard from me. Well, I would not sit here this morning and call him a liar, say that he's not being truthful when he says he did not receive my text message. Technology is good, but you and I both know people have sent us text messages that we never received. Right. So I'm going to assume then that he's telling the truth there for whatever reason. But I do also know that he was contacted by Katie Wesson from Volt Media, who reached out, and probably others who reached out to him regarding a debate. and he has declined. And I even called him myself on Sunday evening to ask for a debate, and he declined then. But the citizens are screaming for it, you know. So the bottom line is that, you know, I'm here to be transparent and to give the citizens what they want, and they want to see us in a situation where they can see how we act under pressure and be able to compare our answers on multiple different issues.
What about you know, crime? Your opponent talked about crime and some of the things that you had said about crime. Expand on that this morning, if you would.
Well, here's the one good thing. I'm glad that he's finally talking about it, and he is correct. No one had in the other camp had, or in any of the other campaigns, had brought up crime. But when saying that no one had brought it up at all until the forum, where you and I both know that's not true because we've discussed it right here on this show, and statistics have been on my website since we put the website up. And that would have been back in 2024. So it's been part of our discussion all along. And I'm happy to see the statistics that he brought. They came from the chief of police. That's great. It didn't do anything but confirm everything that I've been saying, in that, you know, our violent crime, theft, murder, drugs, all of that is steadily increasing. And while some other things may be improving, the bottom line is this regarding crime in our city: we are still in the worst 10% per capita in our nation. And we need to acknowledge that. And two things to say that someone is politicizing that because they bring it up. Well, yes, unfortunately, just before the forum, there was a very tragic incident that happened. But there was no politicization going on there. We didn't, I made a social media post about it because I was contacted by Raven Cook, who is on our election team, who has ties with that family. And she said, would you please make a post, because no one else has acknowledged it. So would you do that? And, you know, as a pastor, I understand someone's pain. I deal with it all the time. So yes, I made a post of compassion, saying that our hearts go out to this family. It's very, very unfortunate. But it wasn't done for any political gain, I can assure you.
Let me drop something in here right quick. You being a pastor, and I've been in pastoring for a long time, we know the importance of protecting the ministry.
Yes.
And some of the accusations that have been pointed to you can affect your church.
Absolutely, and it's again, that's very sad. It's very unfortunate that it's come to that. It's not coming from our camp. And, you know, let's go back to the transparency issue. To say that I am a bought candidate is, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm glad I don't, you know, he said he self-funded his campaign. Well, that's great, but you still have to report it. You still have to disclose it. That's the law. And you can go to the Secretary of State's website and pull up anyone who's donated to my campaign, any money I have spent. It's there for the public eye. And in his campaign, I mean, I can show you right here. We can pull it up. As of this morning, this is what's reported. You can read that from there. You know, he's total cash contributions $4,500, expenditures $4,354, and he's had a little over $1,000 in in-kind contributions. Well, I'll tell you what. He says he's been campaigning for 4 months. Well, Jimmy, if you can campaign for 4 months and do everything that we see him doing with the radio, the newspapers, your broadcast, billboards, signs galore, I mean, he doesn't need to be mayor of Sylacauga. We need to elect him president. Because he can flat manage some money if he can do all of that.
Well, it's good there's some laughter in this, right? Yeah.
I mean,
Talk about education. You were raised here in Sylacauga, went to public schools here.
oh yeah, I grew up here, grew up through the Sylacauga school system, cherished memories of some of the most awesome teachers I've ever had. I had the good pleasure a few days ago to knock on the door of my 5th grade math teacher, science teacher, Mr. Jackson.
Before the turn of the century, wasn't it?
Oh, wow. It's been a while, but it's been a minute, but not quite that long now.
Yeah.
I'm not that old. But it's important. Our city school systems have been doing a great job under Dr. Eller, and I mean, we're seeing that we won 2 national awards, one for the entire school system, and then I think it was Indian Valley Elementary got an award. Our AP scores have increased the greatest amount in history. We've had the greatest number of students that we've ever had taking the ACT, scoring 26 or better. So we're moving in the right direction. There are things that I would love to be able to, as mayor, engage and encourage the city to do, because if we're going to continue this process, then of course that takes continued investment. So I think we need to encourage greater parent participation in a school system. I think our teachers would greatly appreciate that. You know, I remember a time if I got in trouble at school and my parents were called, then
that's more trouble.
It was worse on me when I got home. But today, a lot of times, you know, you call the parent and they're mad at the teacher for calling the parent. Well, we need to work on those relationships and try to fix that. But we've got to continue to invest in our school system so that we can make sure that we're providing them the best and most modern facilities that we possibly can. We're providing the student resource officers on campus, so we ensure their safety like we can. We're investing in workforce training, career technical education, that kind of stuff. I think our fine arts departments are important. We need to continue to invest in that and just work toward preparing our students for their next stage in life. You know, even when it comes down to just managing their own financial affairs, we need proper etiquette. Remember, we used to take home ec and etiquette classes when we were in school. I think we need to bring some of that back.
One of the gems in our community is Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the largest employers in our city. And you're pro-hospital, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Our CVMC here is one of the greatest assets that we have in our community. Not only is it one of, if not the largest employer in our city, so it's vital that we ensure and work to ensure its well-being, but it's also the most advanced hospital in our local area. It's comforting to know that they have all the resources that they have there close by, especially in emergency situations. My dad, during this campaign, I lost my best friend. And I know that when he was here and in the ICU at CVMC, his care was wonderful. And they tended to him, they took care of him, they were there whenever he needed them. It was wonderful to see that. And I, being his friend, I appreciated the compassion and care that was provided to him by CVMC. And we've got to continue, we've got to support that. We've got to make sure that they're able to get the resources that they need. And, you know, we need to attract doctors into our city. We need more doctors. We've got some doctors that are ready to retire. And those that are retiring out, well, the new physicians, you know, they use different practices. And we need to make sure that our hospital is equipped with the tools that they need, such as, you know, robotic surgery. I think we're going to need a new urologist in town pretty soon, and we're having difficulty attracting one because we don't have that equipment.
What role can the city of Sylacauga and the mayor play in support of Coosa Valley Medical Center?
Well, let's start with a simple thing that we can do, and that's partnering with the hospital and promoting the Rural Hospital Investment Program. And if you're not familiar with that, then under Act 2025, I got to check my note here. Yeah, 404. I like to use notes. It's kind of when I go to a restaurant, I like it when my waiter writes my order down, so I make sure I get what I ordered, and I don't like to just fly by the seat of my pants all the time. Make sure that I've got the right facts in front of me. But through the Rural Hospital Investment Program, individuals can actually take and use tax credits, and really dollar for dollar, I guess would be a good way to put it. If you owe the state $15,000 and you're an individual, then you can divert that $15,000 toward your hospital. If you're a married couple filing jointly, you can file up to $30,000. So instead of it going into the state of Alabama, it comes to our local hospital. If you're a pass-through entity, an LLC or something like that, or an S-Corp, you can send up to $450,000 annually to our local hospital. We need to be stressing that and pushing that, because that would be a huge push for CVMC to receive the funding that it desperately needs. Because you may not realize it, but in this day and age, there's so many people that have government subsidized health insurance, we'll just say that, that a lot of times that payment is slow in coming. It takes a while to get there. Most of the time, very often, because people, you want to use the ER like it's one of the urgent cares, and the hospital never receives payment for that. And given the fact that they are the largest employer in our city, we need to make sure that we're working with them to prop them up where we're able. Am I going to sit here and say we need to give them millions of dollars a year? No, but when there are avenues like the Rural Hospital Investment Program that we can use, we certainly need to use it. We need to encourage it among our city employees, among our citizens at large, among our local businesses and companies that are here, so that they can divert those funds there.
Mayoral candidate in the September 23rd runoff election, Bryan Taunton, with us for a few more minutes this morning. News broke late last week about a situation at City Hall. 2 employees apparently had been given raises that they shouldn't have got, and now apparently they're going to have to pay it back. And whomever the mayor is elected coming up September 23rd is going to have to deal with that some. What is your response?
Well, I've watched this situation develop, Jimmy, and I've talked to some of the parties that are involved, and I do know, if I am recalling correctly, when our first interim city clerk was put in, they passed a resolution which basically said that any interim department head, their base pay would be the base rate of whatever that department required. And if as a transferring city employee from another department, if they came in, if that resulted in a raise, then they got the raise. Okay. The mayor's job is to execute policy that's set forth by the city council. That doesn't necessarily mean that every time there's an expenditure that he has to go back before city council if it's already in the budget and get permission. They have already set that and given permission by way of the budget and by way of that resolution. So regarding that pay increase, I don't know that I would have a problem with it, but if I was on the inside looking in and I had everything, I might. I don't know. But from the outside looking in, I don't think so. Regarding the raise of the other individual, I think there's some confusion there. I've read that resolution, and there's a lot of gray area there. It's very convoluted.
It's a very long resolution.
It is. It is a very and it's as though that it's been added to and in an effort maybe to bring clarity, but it didn't. And because of that gray area, I think our city position is in jeopardy if we reject this raise. Only because, now let me state this. Personally, we're talking about a step raise for a master's who the individual got another master's. Would I personally grant that raise on that measure? No. But the way the resolution is written, because it's unclear, it leaves that door open. Normally, you would give us the next step raise if the individual went and got a PhD. In this case, that's not, it was a sideways step. They got another master's. Now, what's the result of that going to be? It's probably going to end up, if they're forced to pay it back, then it's probably going to be, we're going to see another grievance and another lawsuit filed against the city.
And that's more money.
And that's going to cost
more
us.
time.
Well, now here's my thing, here's the thing that really sticks in your craw. Do you know how much money we're talking about?
No.
70 cents an hour. This is we're talking about at best, just barely over $3,000 a year. So because if the statute or if the resolution was written correctly and it was plain and we had firm ground to stand on, then I say we stand the ground. But because I do not believe in reading this resolution that we do, then we're better off satisfying her ask, her request for the raise and granting it, and then going back and clarifying that resolution.
The resolution talks about the city council, and it was bypassed them, and the resolution said it's got to go through the city council, and whomever the mayor is, they're going to face that.
Yeah.
And how important is it that the mayor and council be on the same page?
I think it's essential, and it's going to be something very new for us if we can make it happen. If we get the right council in there, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to work with a unified city council to move our city forward so we can all stand on the same ground and assess these things together and make sure that we're making the right decisions. Because again, my job as mayor is only to execute those things and policies that the city council sets into place. And that will be exactly what I intend to do.
And, the mayor's job includes formulating a budget
Yes.
to present to the city council, and that's a big job right there.
That's a big job, and I'm looking forward to taking on that challenge. I've run large budgets before and other corporations and for other individuals. As head of vice president of Hickory River Plantations, that was a part of my job description, and I would work with the CFO in developing that budget. We had 37 offices across the United States. We're talking a little bit over $300 million a year in sales and volume that we would do, and gracious, probably a little over 400 salespeople in the streets, in the roads every day from each location that we had. So it was a big job. I was able to do it then. I think I can do it now.
Bryan Taunton, candidate for mayor in the runoff election here in Sylacauga on September the 23rd. As we close this morning, I know we got a paving project going on, or maybe just being completed. I'm not absolutely sure, but there's still much work to do with our roads and streets in Sylacauga.
Yeah, we've got to definitely continue that project. Maybe reevaluate, take a look at what roads are getting paved. I've not had an opportunity.
I seem to find the roads that aren't paved is one I.
As I'm knocking on doors, I'm finding a lot of those too. So we need to make sure that the right roads are getting paved. I think the mayor's done a good job at his site selections and where that work's taking place. But we've also got we're not going to forget flood mitigation. We've got to come back, and a lot of the issues, and the one issue that I have with our paving is there are roads that need to actually be graded down further because there's such a huge crown on top of them that's part of what's creating some of our flooding issues. Is the water's it's not being controlled adequately because of the runoff created by those situations. We need to take a look at that. But right now, what are we going to do? Those roads have just recently been paved, and so many of our roads look like a stack of pancakes. You've just got asphalt on top of asphalt on top of asphalt.
Yeah. Well, I know that time is short this morning. The election is 2 weeks from today. And as we close this interview today, I know that you want to speak to the potential voters to go to the polls September 23rd and vote Bryan Taunton.
Absolutely. We need you to get to the polls. But before we go, Jimmy, I do want to close out with one thing regarding the transparency and the allegation that I am a bought candidate. To say that is very insulting. One, if you think that, then you don't know Bryan Taunton at all, because I can't be bought. And the other thing is to say that regarding the people who have given to my campaign, then you obviously do not know them, because they are pillars of our community. They're people of great integrity. They're believers. And to question that and think that they would have any other intent than seeing me as the most viable candidate with the greatest vision to take our city forward, that's all they see. They believe in me, they believe in my ability, and they believe that I'm the best man for the job. And so they've given to our campaign to try to help make sure that we're able to get the word out and we've not been as competitive with our opponent as I would have liked to have been, because Lord have mercy, he's done a lot more than I've been able to do with the funds that I've raised. And again, hats off to him. But to call into the question the integrity of those who have given to my campaign, for them, I would apologize to them that you've been drugged into that this morning. Moving forward, I'm going to continue being out there and being in the streets, and I am begging, pleading for your vote to help keep our city moving forward, to unify our city government. And I'm asking you to make the right choices when you get to the polls. I'm not simply running against my opponent, Jimmy Dale. I'm running against a power structure that doesn't want a guy like me in there.
Are you open to questions, Bryan?
Absolutely. I would love, the people want to debate. I would love the opportunity to have that debate. And my opponent has declined, but I would love that opportunity. Every piece of information I put on everyone's door has my personal cell phone number on there. If you want to call me now, it's 205-746-8864. And I invite people to call me, ask me questions. More importantly, I'll tell them straight up, don't throw this away. Hold on to that number. And once I'm elected, if you need me, call me on that number. Call me directly. If I'm not doing the job, hold me accountable and call me and tell me.
Being accessible.
Being very accessible to our citizens.
Bryan Taunton, candidate for mayor in the Sylacauga City runoff election on September 23rd. Bryan, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Got more after this.